You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Folks, listen up. U.S. Cellular wants to help everyone get the gift of connection this holiday season. Already a customer? This applies to you too, because right now, new and current customers can get any phone, and I mean any phone, for free. Yes, free. Sounds like it's time to make the switch. Spread the holiday cheer far and wide this season with a new phone. Everyone can get the gift of connection at U.S. Cellular. Get any phone free today. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Terms apply. Visit uscellular.com for details.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is brought to you by Peloton. Party on a bike, or rower, or treadmill, or app, or walk, or weight room, or anywhere. Peloton.
They say that, you know, the assistant commissioner, assistant vice president, whoever it is, used to be Troy, the
Troy Vincent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is now. It's always a former player.
Is it Runyon?
It could be.
I think it's John Runyon.
But they keep track of all that.
It is John Runyon,
and they
yes.
explain in a letter to the guy, you were being penalized this much because you have had previous offenses here, here, and there. They quantify it all.
Mm-hmm. You did hear that we stopped talking about 30 seconds ago, right?
Yeah, I heard the horn. I just, I heard.
But it was so good that we just re-racked and started back up again. And we got most of your
We're back up again?
We're in it right now.
About 94% of it.
If you were a sore loser about today, we probably would have just stopped it then. But you've been so admirable in defeat that we wanted to throw you a bone.
We have an update. Roy, he's getting compliments from everywhere around the company. So Roy in the Slack just said, thank you for all the compliments. Here's the recipe. And he attached a website link, which means it's not his recipe. It's from a website.
I never said it was my recipe.
I feel like that takes a little away.
He's like Rick Rubin. He samples and he just punches things up and makes it better.
Roy, just say thank you next time. I mean...
Bye.
Take the victory.
Yeah, Roy,
take your lap.
Take credit for somebody else's work, for crying out loud.
Speaking of lying, I want to get to a Netflix documentary I saw called Bad Surgeon. It was 3 episodes, and I spent the entire time with my mouth hanging open because I met a liar bigger than Stugotz. And
what?
Wow.
It's the first time I've ever seen it. And for me, the lies compound so much that it does feel to me while I'm watching it like water is rising in a room when you're lying to your fiancé about how the Pope is going to marry you and the wedding date is approaching, and you have not yet secured the Pope. That discomfort for me is something out of my nightmares.
At what point? Wait, the Pope can't marry.
He does marry some people ceremonially, but
be married by. I thought he was like, yeah,
not marrying
you're
the
gonna
Pope.
be Mrs.
The Pope was going to marry them. That's correct. Right.
Okay, my bad.
I was stunned to watch a movie or a documentary about a surgeon and find out that he was replacing windpipes with plastic windpipes and was doing so without having tested it on animals. So human beings, started dying and rotting from the inside, and this person was not only getting away with it, he was being celebrated as a world-renowned doctor who didn't feel like he was world-renowned enough, so he made up an assortment of lies to his wife and others about how Barack Obama and Bill Clinton was going to come to their wedding and that the Pope was going to be the one marrying them. And I was watching the whole thing thinking to myself, outside of Stugotz, I'd never met anyone who lied with this sort of proficiency.
Well, thank you.
But to have, it made me wonder how Stugotz feels when the walls start closing in on you. When your wife is like, hey.
That's when I thrive, Dan.
The wedding's in a week.
When I'm up against it and I tell my wife the Pope is going to marry us, that's when I thrive, when the pressure is on.
All right. Well,
yes.
I don't want to spoil too much
Makes me feel alive.
I don't want to spoil too much of this, but I feel like you thrived the way this guy thrived, that when he was confronted with his fiancée, he's changed his story from I am a surgeon you are marrying, and he made it, I'm a CIA contracted sniper. I couldn't tell anybody about this.
If anyone's going to get Mike Francesa to marry me and my wife, it's me. I mean, come on.
It really did make me think of Stugotz, though. I'm not making that up.
Thank you again.
And in that, it seems
It doesn't
like
bother you at all.
Nah.
For the walls to be closing in on you on something and everyone seeing that you're not telling the truth about something in matters of import.
Well, it's just like you're the comparison point. Like you're the Michael Jordan of lying. No matter what we watch.
Guys, stop.
Please. It always comes back to you.
The compliments. Please.
Lucy, are you ready to play a new game that we are debuting right now today? Lucy is the moderator, and Lucy, Greg Cody, is going to make you feel old, I think. You fancy yourself someone who is very good with words. You are very good with words. You know more definitions of words than just about anyone that I know, but Lucy thinks she can stump you.
Okay.
I actually think I can stump all three of you.
Dan thinks he's skating from this.
Greg lost once today. I'm not going to make him do it again, so you two have to help him.
Thank you.
So the Oxford Dictionary declared Rizz as their word of the year. So I put together a list of TikTok words, which Rizz is one of them, and you guys are going to guess what they mean.
Wow. What is the definition of Rizz? Start there.
That's
Not a great start.
Not great.
You have to guess.
Said it's one of the words.
I know.
All right.
Thank you, but what's the definition?
Stugotz, close your laptop.
You're not on freak.
On fleek.
Nope.
Fleek.
All right.
I am very much on freak. You should see me in those
Stu,
costumes.
she said close your laptop.
Close your laptop.
Why?
Or at least,
Because
like...
I don't want you to cheat.
It's all ESPN.com.
All right, well, I'm watching your hands. We're good.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, put your phone down, please. All right, what do you guys think the definition of Rizz is?
I'm on record as asking, so it's clear
You
that
have to give a guess.
I don't know.
Can you use it in a sentence?
He has a lot of Rizz.
All right, I'm going to say it's synonymous with sauce. Like he's got a lot of, he's cool.
I would say self-confidence.
Cachet.
All right, I think that was solid. Rizz is short for charisma. So it's like if a guy has a lot of Rizz, that means he's got a lot of charisma, and it's usually in like a flirty, connotation.
Wow.
Okay.
Who has the most Rizz in this room?
I'm not going to answer that question.
All right, continue.
My turn.
I asked the question.
Who won? But who won that? Who
I think
came
you all,
closest?
you all
We
win.
all got it? Okay.
You all win.
Won.
Great job.
No, they all lost.
All right. What is OOTD?
OOTD.
You mean the acronym, right?
Yeah.
That was a good filibuster by you,
Thank
asking
you.
a follow-up question.
Yeah.
'Cause, I'm gonna say overtime drive. I'm gonna say something that is that somebody's got a lot of will and is somebody who works a lot past their fatigue.
You forgot the second O, so that's very wrong.
I love it when I'm very wrong.
Oh, boy.
Well, the music will carry us.
I have no idea. I don't even...
No, you have to give me a guess. You're making this not as fun as it should be.
Insecurity. That's what I'm going
Okay.
with. Okay.
It stands for Outfit of the Day.
Oh.
So great job, guys.
Outfit of the day.
Chris Cody, why are you disgusted?
I was trying to give my dad something that would be funny there, and he just didn't.
Yeah, he waved
couldn't
you off
hear him.
on everything.
You guys
couldn't
need
hear him.
faster guesses. all
Outfit
right?
of the day.
Yeah, OOTD.
And who calls clothing an outfit? My mother used to do that.
Right.
No, Outfit of the Day is very
That's a
normal.
nice outfit, she used to say to me. I'm like, what?
No,
Now the
outfit
kids
of-
just call it a fit nowadays.
Yeah, they do actually.
Really?
All right, next one is Chugi.
Oh, I should know this.
I'm going to say it's in the branch of the Changa family that if somebody is Chugi, they are somebody who is ethnically representative of something.
Stu, what did you just write down?
Chugi.
I think it's
How'd you spell it?
I think it's
CHOOGIE.
Nope.
it's something that tastes really good. Like that
Okay.
is chuggy.
All right, Stu, what's your guess?
It means it's something that's really cool.
right.
Roy's turkey is really
All of you
chuggy.
were very wrong. It means something that's cringy.
That room.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
you guys-
sorry. You're the coolest. We are rampant Chugi people. Our band.
Dan, Chugi is actually kind of chuggy now, so people don't use that term anymore, but just for the game. So please don't say that again.
Sorry that my OOTD isn't quite Rizz enough for you, asshole.
You really don't know how to use these. All right, next one is BFFR.
I'm going to say best friends forever.
It's a good guess, but no.
Oh, you stole my thunder.
Best friends forever in reverse.
Okay.
Former best friend.
All right,
forever.
Stu, give us your
Rummaging.
guess.
I'm thinking about it. Hold on.
Rummaging.
What is it? BFF what?
BFFR.
R. BFFR. I don't like you.
It stands for be f***ing for real.
Oh, wow.
I use that one a lot, actually. All right, next one.
I hate our music.
Get into the spirit, Dan. Feel young. Enjoy the music. Just you're doing really bad right now.
Best friends forever.
Give
was
us a
good
normal
guess.
word.
It was a great
That
guess.
was a really good guess.
Best friends
impressed.
reverse. I like
Yes.
that one the best.
All right, ready? No crumbs.
Nash Bridges.
No crumbs.
No crumbs.
That means you've cleaned up after you've done something. You've left the area with no clues.
You've covered your bases.
I like that guess.
I think it means no gossip. I don't want to hear any crumbs about me.
No. All right, Stu, you were the best one. So if you say she ate and left no crumbs, that means she crushed it. She absolutely killed it. So a point for Stu. I believe that's our first
point.
Our first
Whoa!
point.
The point has been assigned. I'm chooky.
No,
Cringe.
no.
That's not the way that goes.
The next one is if someone says, I'm an accountant.
How many different game show musics have we used here?
I'm an accountant.
This is a good one, though.
I'm an accountant. That means that
I like this being a trick question. It's just you're an accountant.
And all it means, that's right, is you work in finance. I'm going to guess that this is someone who is meticulous.
Nope.
Whoa.
Knows how to save money.
Okay.
Greg?
I take it literally. If somebody tells me they're an accountant, I assume that they actually are an
Okay,
accountant.
fair enough.
If someone on TikTok tells you they're an accountant, means they are a sex worker of some sort.
Put it on the poll, please,
is awkward.
Juju, at Lebitard Show. Did you know an accountant on TikTok was a sex worker of some sort?
Congrats on not knowing that, guys.
All right. That's on period, sis.
Wait.
It happens every
Say it again.
30 days.
Nope.
Dan.
Say it again.
That's on period, sis.
That's on period. On point.
Is that our final guess?
Greg, we love when you stare at us for 5 seconds before
No,
guessing.
that's a good guess. I think Stugotz nailed it.
You can take his guess too.
He's the Roy's turkey of this game.
So your way of
Yes,
saying
he
he
is.
nailed it was just by staring at us.
I'm trying to come up with an answer.
Staring vacantly at your son and not speaking into a microphone surrounded by silence.
It wasn't my turn.
No crumbs.
It was your
On
turn.
point.
It was your turn. It
You're
is
an accountant. Get out of here.
What? Dan's a sex worker?
Every Tuesday, I'm
You never know.
All right, is that our final guess?
Yes.
That's correct, Stu. You
Yes.
got it.
Yes.
This went, I have more, but this went about as bad as I expected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every bit is bad.
Stugotz wins. It's the daughters, man. They keep you young.
Yes.
Congratulations,
2 points.
Greg, on sounding younger than I do.
Thank you.
Acceptance speech?
No.
That's on period, sis.
Hey, it's Mike, and I want to motivate you to make Miller Lite a part of your football watching experience. Here's the pitch. It's got only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you get the taste that you crave without the calories. And, football fans, I can assure you, from personal experience, there is no other light beer, not on this wonderful planet of ours, that goes with football quite like Miller Lite. Make football time Miller time. No matter what team you're rooting for, there is one thing we can all agree on. Miller Lite and football bring us all together. So, I want you to take my advice and make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dan Le Batard.
Ron, I can't walk around my house naked because I fear that the cat would be traumatized.
Stugotz.
Like if your cat or dog suddenly saw you nude walking around your house, how would they react to that? What would they
Probably
think?
wondering why I don't have spines at the end of my penis.
Yeah, like a cat.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
It's pretty easy to find the show. DraftKingsNetwork.com is all you have to do if you want to find what we're doing every day, all of it, instead of just the live hour on YouTube. Also, SamsungTVPlus.com. We're on channel 1168. And the praise is pouring in from all over the internet, Stugotz. Mm-hmm. Somebody writes, does Dan think that he himself has been giving fresh new takes and analysis at any point in the last 5 years? Dan calling Stu an asshole for spoiling the new Netflix movie of the moment when he himself spoiled the finale of Succession the Monday after it aired and never addressing it is hilarious. I am begging for one crumb of self-awareness.
No crumbs.
You got my tweet.
Dan's thing is anybody on or affiliated with the show is that they are the best at what they do, even though it's not true most of the time. I can't think of a single show topic less interesting in 2023 than player empowerment. First off, no one gives a shit about your highlight team. Second of all, no one gives a shit about your highlight team.
You've crossed the line.
That guy can kick rocks.
At Le Batard Show.
Provided it lands between the 4 and 7.
At Le Batard Show on Twitter, does anyone young use the phrase, you can kick rocks? At Le Batard Show. Stugotz, I thought you'd have an opinion on this video I'm about to show. The Lakers took the in-season tournament and the celebration of it, and they took it seriously. They have had a letdown since winning the tournament. They've lost 3 of their last 4 because once you've won the in-season tournament, there's going to be a natural letdown.
Of course, yes.
They lost at home to the Knicks last night. And look at this ceremony, Stugotz. Look at the lights. They are putting it near. They're putting it around their actual championship banners, and it looks better and more modern than their actual championship banners.
You can't do that. That banner has no place in the arena.
Pathetic.
It does not. It has no place hanging in the rafters over that basketball court, and it certainly has no place next to the 54 Lakers banner that included George Mikan. I mean, Mikan must be rolling over in his grave right now. Seriously, those are NBA title banners, okay? This is for regular season game number 21 that they won, and they haven't been good since. That's an embarrassment. The fact that LeBron is taking this thing so seriously, the fact that the Lakers are taking it so seriously is a complete embarrassment for one of the great organizations in the history of sports. You don't do it. Maybe the Pacers do it. Maybe the Hawks do it. Maybe another franchise does it. But if you're the Lakers, you're the Celtics, you're the Yankees, you're the Red Sox, you're one of those organizations, you don't do it. It's a meaningless banner, Dan.
I couldn't agree more, and I would liken it to the New York Yankees celebrating with a banner because they had the best record in spring training. It's a made-up tournament. It's got no history whatsoever. Now, 15 years from now, if the in-season tournament is still around and it is accelerated and picked up steam and is truly a bigger deal, maybe.
That's how you get. How do you think you get there? That's one of the dumbest things you've ever said.
No, because right now, the LA Lakers.
So we just shouldn't pay attention to it for 10 years. And then in 10 years, we can care about it.
You should not put up a banner that's the same size as your NBA championship
But in 10
banner.
years, they should.
No, in 10 years, it might be worth more than it is right now. Right now, it's worth nothing.
It won't be in 10 years,
Would
I promise
love
you.
to know the tournament that wasn't made up. Yeah. All tournaments have to start somewhere, and I will say
but
that
most of them don't start in the middle of a season.
The beginning of a season.
Right.
Yeah, but
most of them are after
in Europe,
the season.
they do all across the globe, and I think that they're actually pacifying you a little bit because from the looks of this, and this is something I picked up from this shot over here, it looks like they're only going to hang one banner, and they've made room on the banner to put up additional years. So it's not like they're volume shooting banners here. There is one banner of recognition for this tournament presently.
But, Mike, don't mix them in with the championship banners. That's all I'm saying. You didn't win a championship.
Such a weird semantics thing you guys are doing. So put it over there in the arena, but not right here.
It's right next to a 1954 championship banner.
Those banners,
why is that up?
They represent accomplishments.
Weren't they Minneapolis back then?
That is an accomplishment. What are you talking about?
Winning the IST?
It's nothing.
It is. No, it's not nothing.
They got a trophy.
It's
there was a competition for all the teams, and they were the ones standing at the end. That is an accomplishment.
Right.
They were unbeaten, correct? They were 7-0.
And they went through really good teams.
You make a trophy for PFPI.
Well, that's got a tradition.
You host a gala.
That's been around since 1969.
Made-up title.
Yes, but this
You know,
will
Eggs Lobos have won 8
this will
times.
have tradition.
Everybody's climbing to reach the Lobos.
But this will have tradition
But it
the more
doesn't
that they do
now.
it.
The
That's what
teams
Greg
weren't
is
even
saying.
taking it seriously. They were benching their players to rest them.
Right.
The teams
thank
were
you.
taking it seriously.
Well, not all of them.
4 at the end.
I dismiss that take. Teams were very clearly taking this one seriously. And just because you guys aren't down with the idea, that's fine. You want to diminish it? Cool. I mean, you have pretty strong opinions on whether or not they should hang a banner. That's what they hang up. There's Southeast Division champion banners. There's a Ron Culp banner at
Ridiculous.
arenas. This is, and no disrespect to Ron Culp, he deserved it.
But those banners are nowhere near George Mikan's banners. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I love
Okay,
you
but it's
being the
not.
guy that's like,
Okay.
"Hey, move it 20 feet away and then it's fine. Like, what are we doing?
You got to
Interior
respect
designer.
George
You're
Mikan.
getting what you want, though. They're just. It seems like they're just honoring it with one banner, and the additional years that they win, they're going to throw up numbers there. By the way, this might establish a precedent, and all banners with regards to this tournament may follow that in suit. With okay, we're just going to have one banner, and we're just going to throw up the years to acknowledge the years that we've done this. It's not being treated like a main Larry O'Brien championship. It isn't. It's being treated like a new trophy, but it's very much being treated as a inaugural season tournament. And you have to start tradition. You're lamenting that it doesn't have tradition. You don't get tradition without doing it for a couple of seasons.
Well, that's my favorite part about this. Greg Cody demanding
Insane.
history from a tournament that just started.
if it was 10 years, if it's been around for 10 years, maybe we can celebrate it.
did you have a trophy your first year of your fantasy league? Your first year?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, we did. But it was a modest trophy. It wasn't a banner.
Right.
It wasn't like
It's
a big-
called Dad's Dynamics Cup.
Well, that's true. After my late great father, Wild Bill Cody. To this day, Dad's Dynamics Cups. Right now, Dick's Rough Riders have tied Tati's Llamas for first place, by the way.
But that trophy goes to the champion of the league, not someone who wins week 3, right?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
thank you.
That's the analogy.
Right.
We don't give a PFPI Cup to the week 3 winner. Great saying by Stugotz there.
Thank you.
It wasn't a saying.
Well, whatever he
Just a
said.
point, yeah.
If he said it, it was a
This is when he
saying.
starts petering out every week.
If he said
like
it, it
fried
was a
turkey,
saying.
Dan.
Look how tired he is.
I'm not tired.
I'm tired.
The tryptophan is kicking in.
Roy
right
should
now.
be
It
tired.
is.
He got up at 3 a.m. to make an award-winning turkey.
But Dan, you said it right. You have to respect Mikan. I mean,
I was making fun of you
What?
for demanding a respect for 1954 George Mikan. And did we find out whether the Lakers are holding up a banner that they won in Minnesota during a time
they did.
when the jobs, the second jobs that players had in construction?
I'm just guessing based off the color scheme that those belong to Minneapolis. I don't know when they moved, but I do think it was after 1954.
That's why they're called the Lakers, named after the
No,
Great Lakes.
I understand, but you don't take offense to them hanging up Minneapolis Lakers titles in that arena.
I mean, they came over when they
They have
moved.
history.
Right.
It's the future. They were the future Lakers.
There was somebody, though, in Minnesota in 1954, like shaking a fist at the idea that the Lakers put up their banner, their beloved banner.
Quick correction. They're not named after the Great Lakes. That's 5 of them. They're named after the 10,000 lakes in the state of Minnesota.
Well, that kind of thing. They're named
That
after
kind
the
of thing.
lakes, I said, right?
Right.
Did you turn off your oil?
Oh, shit.
Oh, no. Yeah, I did.
Wait, isn't a Laker an actual occupation too? It's like a sailor, but they just because there's this other mascot in college that
It's one of those
they're
TikTok
also
words.
called the Lakers, but they have like a dude with like a Popeye pipe in his mouth.
You're saying somebody who makes a living on the lake?
On the lake is also called a Laker.
It's a good question. I don't know what a Laker is. Is someone put it on the poll? Do you know whether a Laker is someone who works on the lake, lives on the lake, or other?
But what's a 76er, though?
The boat is apparently called the Laker. The boat that does its work on the lake is called the Laker.
What's a heat?
I don't know. A Laker sounds to me like someone who celebrates a bogus championship.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah,
proud
well,
of that one. Did you?
He gave the.
I'm so tired of it.
He,
So
he-
who
he
cares?
was impressed with
Regular season
himself.
He should be. It was another good saying.
Thank you.
So you don't have an issue with you don't have an issue with these Minneapolis banners hanging up in the crypto.com arena. Did you have an issue with what we saw on Sunday where the Houston Texans were playing the Tennessee Titans, but the Tennessee Titans were dressed like the Houston Oilers?
I mean,
Dad, he just asked you a question.
I like those unis, man.
They were born in Houston. I mean, the Titans were the Oilers, right?
Yeah, but it just feels wrong when Houston is trying to mount a comeback against the Oilers.
Right.
And when Modell moved the Browns
Those
to Baltimore,
uniforms are beautiful,
So
by the way. I
nice.
can't help but
Yes.
fall in love
They are great.
every time I see those Oilers, old Houston Oiler
The
uniforms.
Derek logo is fantastic.
And I do understand that the Tennessee Titans were the Tennessee Oilers for a brief moment in time, but I would love to see the NFL restore the history of the Oilers, because I know the argument from the Addams family would be that it was made by the Oilers franchise, but that history was also made in Houston. And I feel like the NFL should broker an agreement that reflects that of the Cleveland Browns, where the Browns get to keep all their history and the Ravens are essentially treated as an expansion team and they don't keep any of the Browns' history.
I mean, there's that situation for most franchises, right? I mean, didn't the Chicago Bears begin as the Chicago Cardinals?
Yeah, you also have the Indianapolis Colts that maintain all the history of the Baltimore Colts.
Do you feel any remorse whatsoever at the profound disrespect that you launched for no reason at the late Miami Heat trainer Ron Culp?
Took a stray.
He does have a banner.
I don't.
In my defense, I said he earned it.
Everyone has a banner there.
But do you not feel it? One of the things Mike McDaniel was quoted here this weekend is he's told everybody who's saying the Dolphins haven't beat any winning teams, and this game against the Cowboys features a game with teams that have won 20 games and haven't played anybody in a way that no game in the NFL has ever looked like that. And Mike McDaniel said, all due respect, he's told everyone to bleep off and told the players to tell others to bleep off. And I don't think you can say, no disrespect, tell everyone to bleep off any more than you can say, no disrespect, but the late Ron Culp, his banner shouldn't be respected the way other banners are.
It just feels that ridiculous to me, having that much anger over an accomplishment being acknowledged on the IST.
They're the ones trying to rank banners, okay? We're cool with all these banners. They're the ones over here. This banner's allowed, but that banner has to be this separated from that banner.
There's a lot of anger here between you and your dad that I don't think is about banners.
Stugotz was doing the banner
No,
thing.
it is deep-seated, but it's also
Thank you.
the added bonus of not caring about this tournament at all, but caring deeply about the banners.
Dan Le Batard.
It's the classic first ballot Hall of Famer, the musical fart, okay, where it can be a creaking door,
Right.
It can be an orchestra tuning up before a concert, and the bassoon is a little bit off key, and it comes out like that.
Stugotz.
The musical fart. It's a beauty. It is a beauty. Me. Sorry. Shit.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz, you have heard me say over the years that the quarterback's job I have seen for a long time now as public-facing face of a team and voice for a team is to get in front of the cameras and say a whole lot of nothing that will become headlines or distractions or anything. But you are marched out all the time in emotional circumstances to say something about why you've lost the football game, and you have to come up with something that is so benign that it doesn't land too hard on your teammate's head. You have to take the responsibility for it, whether it's true or not. And really, I believe every quarterback is going into these press conferences with, let me just get out of here without saying anything. Let me just endure this press conference. Jalen Hurts, after that loss yesterday, he's playing kind of hurt, as everyone is this time of year. He's playing kind of sick. The Philadelphia Eagles have fallen some from where it is they were at 10-1. They have lost now 4 times, and the Seattle Seahawks are making fun of them on social media. Once upon a time, the Jets put up a meme of who's the only team in the NFL to have beaten the Eagles, and it was the Will Smith meme in an empty room, and it was just the Jets. But now the 49ers are in there. Now the Seahawks are in there.
The Cowboys.
And after the game, Jalen Hurts said something that I hope lands on Jason Kelce the way it would have landed on Travis Kelce if Mahomes had said it of Travis Kelce. Jalen Hurts said, we're losing because we've got players who aren't committed enough. and his center's the one doing a podcast that could be termed a distraction under these circumstances. And Stugotz warned you that this will be what's coming for Travis Kelce.
Yep.
If his play falls, and if the Chiefs have fallen some, the criticism that they're not committed enough. What do you make of Jalen Hurts getting at microphones after a 2017 loss in which Jason Kelce has again gotten a major penalty, a penalty where he was told many times by referees, we're going to start calling it if you keep moving that ball up when you're beginning to take the snap and you keep advancing the ball, we're going to call something on you.
They've called it on him a few times already. So, yes, they've been warning him and telling him, hey, we're going to call it.
So what are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts saying those words and then headed back into a locker room where he's making it look to his teammates like he's more committed than they are? Is that leadership, or is that something that he shouldn't have said?
Well, do we know that he is specifically calling out Jason Kelce?
No, but it applies. Once you say it's of your locker room,
that's where people go.
Right? I'm just saying it gets draped on everybody. I'm not saying that's where people go. I'm saying he's a famous Kelce who's got a famous distraction.
I think Jalen Hurts is an incredible leader, a really good quarterback, probably a top 6 or 7 quarterback in the NFL. And if he feels that guys in his locker room are not giving the same sort of effort that he is giving, I'm okay with the leader of that team, the guy who took them to a Super Bowl, outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl, even while losing that Super Bowl. I'm okay with him calling his teammates out.
He scored 17 points in this game, and their offense hasn't been what it was.
That's a boiling point to built-up frustration, right? I mean, when you're 10-1 and all of a sudden you lose 3 games in a row, something's wrong. You see your Super Bowl slipping away, and you're frustrated. And your quarterback's been injured a lot, playing through pain, and it's not usual for 2 stars in the NFL to have a podcast during the season. It's not the norm. I mean, Tyreek Hill has a podcast for a couple of months during the offseason, but once training camp comes, he puts the podcast to bed and concentrates on his real job. And if you're the Kelce brothers, you have every right to be second guessed if things aren't going right on the field. Why are you doing a podcast? You know, because it does take effort. I mean, look at the Greg Cody Show podcast.
Travis Kelce
every Monday.
Kelce has said it's the hardest job in the world, podcast.
It's not just the podcast. It's why are you shooting so many commercials? Why aren't you invested the way you used to be invested in this team and this thing that we all do together?
We are rattling off some high achievers when we reference NFL players that have in-season podcasts like Micah Parsons, Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce. These are guys. Those are 3 guys that you would say might be at the top of their positions in the NFL.
No, Mike, they are, and they could do the podcast. That's fine. The reason I said what I said about Travis weeks ago was I was warning him of what's going to happen if their teams start losing.
Tyreek Hill does release episodes throughout the course of the regular
released an episode
season.
on December 7th, November 30th, November 24th.
Yeah, he didn't last year, I don't believe.
He works more than you do on your back in my days.
I understand why we're all assuming that he's talking about Jason Kelce, because I struggle to find who else he might be talking about. Like, does he have a problem with Boston Scott? I'm not exactly sure. Jalen Hurts has been turning the ball over plenty, and that happened before he got sick with the flu. It might be tied to his injuries. Jason Kelce actually had a great post-game quote where he took full responsibility because he got penalized as they tried to do the brotherly shove at the goal line. He got penalized for moving the football, and he says, the officials have been warning me for years that I've been doing that. I have to stop doing that. I think part of the problem yesterday wasn't necessarily so much focus as it was you kept calling tight end screens with Quez Watkins and Devontae Smith as your lead blockers.
They shouldn't warn him. They should only call it the final play of the game.
Pete Carroll is 8-0 against the Eagles.
And he was doing his best to lose that game.
Yes, he was.
He had a moment. And I've never seen a coach from an opposing sideline be so confused at another coach's tactic that he looked across the field and said, what are you even doing?
That's Sirianni. Sirianni looked around. He looked like Taffer from the Bar Rescue Show, looking around the referee saying, what are you doing? He is such a wonderful meathead. Sirianni feels maximum Philadelphia meathead.
Yeah, it's great when you're winning, though, Dan. But I'm telling you, Eagle fans are going to come down on him as well. They're going to.
It's less wonderful when you're losing to Drew Lock, and he's giving you. Drew Lock gave you the most emotional post-game interview anyone's ever given after winning a regular season thing.
I would love to know, because Seattle's been running pretty much the exact same defense in the secondary as long as Pete Carroll's been alive, right? Like, that is his
It's all Pete knows. Yeah.
It is his tactic. What showed up in the film that called for multiple plays, be it pitch, be it swing routes? What showed up on film that said, I have to get Dallas Goedert in space coming off an injury with two of the most slender wide receivers in the league as his lead blockers? What?
It's a good question. I thought Goddard would have a better game. I thought Hurts would have a better game. I thought that Kenneth Walker wasn't going to be able to run all over the Philadelphia defense.
Meanwhile, they have 2 games left with the Giants, 1 with the Commanders. They'll be 14-3.
They'll get right.
4, right? They've lost 4?
Yes, they'll get
4,
right.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
They'll get right. But the turnovers with them are a big issue. If from 2 games, I think the Cowboys are better in head-to-head competition against the Philadelphia Eagles. They should have won that game. The only difference between that game and the one that happened in Dallas was Philadelphia got all the fumbles that they lost in the first matchup. They fumbled the ball 3 times and just were so happen to be lucky enough to land on their own fumbles.
There's 8 teams that can consider themselves Super Bowl contenders. 7 of them have flaws. San Francisco seems to be the only team that is truly balanced. Run, pass, offense, defense. The 7 other teams, including Philadelphia, Dallas, Miami, they all have weaknesses. And so I think any of 8 teams can win the Super Bowl, which is delightful.
I like that he's pointing out that of the 7 teams, 2 of them are viewed, Dallas and Miami, as fraudy teams that haven't beaten anybody. And I love Stugotz's point of, you know why they haven't beaten anybody good? Because no one's good. Because there are so few good teams that basically the Dolphins or the Cowboys can win the game when they play each other, and someone will say they haven't beaten anyone good. Because
that game's for everything,
so many people were out there calling the Eagles a fraud, and I'm like, we're real quick with fraud these days if you've lost 3 or 4 games. Like, if you lose 3 or 4 games in that sport, at this point in the season, you're a good football team. Like, you don't call those teams frauds.
You're kind of doing that, though, saying the Cowboys haven't beaten a good team, right? They beat the Eagles.
I'm saying everyone's doing that as the Cowboys' flaw. They're saying they can only win at home, but if they go on the road against a good team, it's going to be check down Charlie is what Dak's going to do.
The Eagles beat Dallas. They beat Kansas City. They beat Buffalo. What are we doing?
But they haven't won in December.
They lost to the Jets. They have some bad losses.
Flawed league with flawed teams, and no one's beaten anybody. And we love it and can't get enough. Right. And speaking of which,
here comes Josh Allen.
That's right. I wanted to talk college football here with Lucy and Mike real quick. What's going on at Oregon and at Minnesota? People are complaining that we're talking too much college football around here because of how Jessica and Lucy love college football. Guilty as charged.
Yeah, you're welcome for the last 17 years where we didn't give the sport the proper respect, because right now the sport is on some uneven ground, and it's on the precipice of a gigantic change, and there's things happening that we've never seen before, and we don't talk about it nearly enough.
What could possibly be going on in Minnesota?
So Minnesota is having some issues with their quarterback. They're playing in the Quick Lane Bowl, and their quarterback they thought was going to play in this bowl decided to enter the transfer portal, and they only had one option left, and he was like, hey, I'm about to get married, move to Arizona. I'm done. I'm out. And they were like, well, this isn't good. We don't have a single quarterback. So allegedly, they paid him, or the NIL fund paid him $30,000 to play in the Quick Lane Bowl.
Wow, good for him.
This is the best sport. The best sport.
Not enough. They're not paying him enough.
It'll be his first collegiate start ever. $30,000.
You can make so much money if you're a real serious gambler and you want to go through with a fine-tooth comb all the portal issues, all the NFL draft issues that these teams have, because, talk of Old Dominion's transfer portal talk, that's very niche. Find out this information because there are so many players missing. What's happening in Oregon is fascinating. What Dan Lanning did in the transfer portal is he got not one but 2 of the most coveted quarterbacks. In this game of musical chairs, they somehow landed Gabriel and Moore, the transfer from UCLA. So they have their succession plan already in place. It's very clear that while there are checks bouncing all over this great nation in college football, Uncle Phil's checks are not.
Uncle Phil. I don't know what it is about this Oregon team. They make me so excited. I look at Dan Lanning and I really think that he is in that next stage of one day when, Nick Saban is done, is going to be Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning. I think he's a phenomenal recruiter. I think he's a great coach. Oregon still has a few kinks to work out, but you have 2 of the best quarterbacks in college football, a great offense, and now you're going into a conference that's very weird, very different, and I just love Oregon. I love them, and I'm so excited for this season. And this one's not even over yet.
You're already excited for
The
next
best
season.
part's yet to come.
How are you already excited for next season when it's the best season of all? It's bowl season right now.
I can be excited for both.
Greg Cody, you seem crushed.
I'm not crushed. Bowl season needs to go away. Okay, I just read now that the Heisman Trophy winner is skipping his
This is
bowl
the
game
new and
for
unimproved Dan
LSU.
Lebatard show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Hey, it's Mike, and I want to motivate you to make Miller Lite a part of your football watching experience. Here's the pitch. It's got only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you get the taste that you crave without the calories. And, football fans, I can assure you, from personal experience, there is no other light beer, not on this wonderful planet of ours, that goes with football quite like Miller Lite. Make football time Miller time. No matter what team you're rooting for, there is one thing we can all agree on. Miller Lite and football bring us all together. So, I want you to take my advice and make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.